Next up, Ethan Hayes and Tyler Collins in lightweight action. Let's send it up to Jake Digman to bring out our first fighter.
The following contest is a catchweight bout in the RFO welterweight division, and it is brought to you by the United States Army. Introducing first, making his way down the aisle into the blue corner, please welcome Ethan Hayes.
Ethan Hayes, repping Uniontown MMA. John, that's the same fight team as one of the participants in our co-main event, Nick Brown. And John, Ethan Hayes started his amateur career pretty hot and ran into a very tough fighter in a title fight in another organization here in Ohio. But tell us about Ethan Hayes.
Yeah, he comes in 5-1. Very, very impressive young man. Fights out of West Virginia, 6'3". This is a catchweight bout. It is going to be at 160 pounds. And he's coming off a loss, his only loss of his career. So you know he's looking to get back on the winning track.
Submission artist. 3 of his 5 wins via submission. Another from TKO by strikes and a decision. But Ethan Hayes yet to be stopped. And there's Bill Bosley in the red shirt.
Yeah, and he comes in, he's a tall, lanky fighter. So, and that is one thing that, in my career, I was always the taller fighter, almost 6 foot tall, but I fought at 135 pounds. So that's one of the things that he's going to have to use to his advantage. Push that jab out there, keep your opponent at bay, and try to light him up.
Ethan Hayes makes the walk into the cage, and we send it up to Jake Digman to bring out his opponent.
And his opponent making his way down the aisle into the red corner, please welcome Tyler, the Outlaw Collins.
John, as Tyler, the Outlaw Collins, makes his way to the cage, let's break down these fighters and take a look at the tail of the tape.
Yeah, both these guys, very relatively young, 24 and 25 years old, 6 foot, 6'3". And what's interesting is for their weight class, they are very, very tall. You typically do not see 6 foot, 6'3" at this weight class. And both of these guys are coming off a loss, so both of them are dead set on getting back on the winning track.
Collins with what I'd call an up and down career. As you see Dave Graff, Aries fight team, lead him to the cage. Up and down, not only with his wins and losses, but also with his weight. Spent a lot of time at welterweight. Dave Graff bulked him up, and now he's bringing him back down, and he hopes that power translates. Dave said that he's been training with some very tough guys. And one thing that Dave thinks has limited Tyler Collins is the amateur rules. He's not allowed to use all the tools that he has, including knees. And with the win, I think Tyler Collins is going to go pro.
He very well could be. It's an interesting thing. Right now, Tyler's 6-3. He's got 9 amateur fights. In the state of Ohio, you have to have 5. So it would not surprise me should he get a victory tonight. Next time we see him, he's a professional. So it's interesting. And Dave Graff, for those that know him, man, has he lost weight. He has gotten himself into tremendous shape.
He's lost weight in a good way.
Good way.
Tyler Collins is in the cage. Let's send it back inside for the official introductions.
The following contest is a catchweight bout in the RFO welterweight division, and it is brought to you by the United States Army. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Kingwood, West Virginia. He weighed in at 159 1/2 pounds, representing Uniontown Fight Club. He has an MMA record, 5 wins, 1 loss. Please welcome Ethan Hayes. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Lake Milton, Ohio. He weighed in at 160 pounds, representing Aries Combat. He has an MMA record, 6 wins, 3 losses. Please welcome Tyler, the Outlaw Collins. This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the action begins, your referee is Jerry Poe.
Ethan Hayes at 5-1. Tyler Collins at 6-3. Two established amateurs. Crossroads fight for both of them. Looking at Ethan Hayes in the black, Tyler Collins in the red.
And Tyler just, my initial impression, I just think Tyler looks more comfortable on his feet. That's my initial impression.
Tyler Collins circles to his left around Ethan Hayes, who's steadfast in the center of the cage.
Both men come out traditional, left foot forward.
Oh! Big right by Hayes. Tyler Collins working for the takedown. And Ethan Hayes elevates the level of Collins.
And you can hear the corners both screaming for knees, knees, knees. Right now, if I'm in Tyler Collins' corner, I'm screaming, forget the knees, foot stomps. And there it is, John. There it is.
Are you sure you're not in Tyler Collins' corner?
I might be. Who knows?
Collins working for the takedown. And he gets it.
And he gets it.
Chalk one up.
And immediately to side control.
John, it's important to note that Tyler Collins and Dave Graff in Aries Combat has brought in Brian Walsh, an expert grappler who has been working with Tyler Collins. He's in his corner tonight, and thus far the work of Walsh has paid dividends as Collins has the first takedown and is operating at a full mount.
Well, right now he's in the guard. He's in the guard of Haynes.
I'm sorry, guard rather. My apologies, John. Thank you.
Right now, looks like Hayes is looking for a triangle choke. He's trying to push that arm through, but Collins is doing a good job, real good job of maintaining pressure on the chin, keeping his head against the cage.
Collins looks to move his position up. There's a big right from Collins. Body shot, body shot.
Big right hand.
Hayes is doing a nice job of controlling the posture of Tyler Collins with that hand around the head.
Again, Collins is doing a good job maintaining control, keeping his opponent against the cage, working the body, and with only 10 seconds left, I mean...
Quick round. Quick round.
Oh.
Collins looking to finish it strong.
I don't see how you could judge it any way other than 10-9 Collins.
Yeah, and Ethan Hayes right away. Look at him. He's wearing it on the nose. And the lovely Ariel lets us know it's round number 2. John, we're going to take a look at some of the action from round number 1. But a good round for Tyler Collins, a good start.
Yeah, I mean, he took his opponent down. He got to side control. Didn't monitor his opponent's hip, which allowed him to get back to full guard.
John, explain, for, if you will, monitoring the hip as we take a look at this takedown by Collins.
Okay, so as he takes him down, great takedown. But you see his left knee is going to be a little bit back. And what he needs to do is he's got to make sure that that left knee is on his opponent's hip so his opponent cannot get back to full guard.
Now, does he want it on the hip or does he want it underneath? Is it the near side hip or the far side hip?
He wants it on the near side hip. Make sure you monitor that hip. This way your opponent can't swivel his hips, get you back to full guard, and potentially get an armbar or a triangle, something from the guard, which jiu-jitsu guys love to be in guard.
And, you know, you talk about different points of the body and utilizing all of those, and that's one example of using the complete body to try to keep your opponent in check.
And I'm sure Dave Graff has told him, hey, when you take this guy down, do not let him get you back in full guard.
Excellent analysis by John Sturmack. Collins comes out wild, and Ethan Hayes catches him on the exit. Catch weight, 160 pounds here in the RFO cage. It's Big Guns 25, and we are getting the action that we expect from an RFO show.
And Hayes is doing a nice job. He's remaining calm. He's not getting sucked into this brawl.
I would agree that Hayes looks like Hayes, well, earlier you said Collins, I believe, but Hayes looks to me to be the more composed fighter on the feet. And now Collins and Hayes jockey for position up against the cage.
And now right now he's got to do a great job of takedown defense. He's got to get his feet wide, make sure to avoid those foot stomps, which I'm sure from Dave Graff will be coming.
And Hayes abandons the underhook, John, to lock his hands underneath. And was that the deficiency in the takedown defense?
Takedown defense is something for somebody smarter than me to discuss. It is very difficult. And we're halfway through the round. Right now, Collins is on top again.
Familiar territory?
Yeah, he's doing a good job really locking Hayes' hips down. Hayes trying to put a foot on the hip, create some separation, but it's not working.
Collins walks him back over to the cage. Active hips from Ethan Hayes on the bottom, but Tyler Collins with some solid top pressure.
Yeah, and Collins is doing a good job of keeping his opponent up against the cage, limiting his mobility. I mean, that's one of the things. The cage could be your friend. The cage could be your foe. It's how you utilize it, it's up to you. But right now, Collins is using it as his friend.
And Ethan Hayes is the more active fighter with the striking from the ground, but he's on his back.
He's on his back, and right now Collins has already gotten to half, as we've already discussed. Is it half guard? Is it half mount? And depending which side of the ledger you're on, it could be either or. And now he's back to full guard.
There's Bill Bosley in the red shirt.
And Collins is doing a very nice job of just smothering his hips.
This has been the fastest fight I've seen. Now, granted, they're all 3-minute rounds, and there's Ethan Hayes trying to work some damage from the bottom. John, good flurry by Hayes to end the fight, or in the round rather. Two rounds into this, how do you see it?
Right now, I have it 10-9, 10-9 in favor of Collins.
And that's based on the takedowns, as we see Leah letting us know it's round number 3.
Yeah, and one of the things that you have to look at is if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, being on your back and being in full guard, as we look at some of the replays and the takedowns, might be great, except...
John, watch Collins work on that left knee, trying to get to half guard, but Ethan Hayes doesn't allow it.
No, and one of the things I would say is his hips were too high, allowed his opponent to swivel his hips underneath him, get that knee through, and get back to full guard.
John, we're looking at the corner, and now we're looking at Dave Graff and Tyler Collins, but we just saw Ethan Hayes. What advice is Bill Bosley and the guys from Uniontown MMA telling Ethan Hayes as we come into the third and final round of a fight that he's probably down 2 rounds?
I think what they're telling him is you got to keep this fight standing and look for the uppercut, because your opponent has shot in on you twice, has smothered your hips. Throw that uppercut and try to catch him off guard and knock him out.
We'll see if that's the advice and if it's something that Ethan Hayes follows. Third and final round. We're live on flowcombat.com. Ethan Hayes, center of the cage. Traditional. Tyler Collins is southpaw in the red. Spinning back fist from Collins. It's wild striking, and Hayes.
And here's where I say why you throw that uppercut. because your opponent's coming in at you. He's throwing the swinging back fist. He's doing all these things. Throw that uppercut.
And his head's down on the entry.
Yep.
Bill Bosley's telling him when he shoots for that takedown, smash him. And I think he's calling for that uppercut that you talked about, John.
Right there. Throw that uppercut. Oh.
A little late now.
But now he's got the guillotine. He's got a chance for a guillotine.
But Collins elevates and puts him on his back. Tyler Collins, familiar territory. Wash, rinse, and repeat for Tyler Collins. And there was that guillotine you were talking about.
Guillotine attempt, but he let it go. Now, right now, what he needs to do is get his feet towards the cage, get himself away from it so he's not pressed up against it. This way he has room to maneuver. And if he can do that, he's got a chance for a guillotine. See, okay, this is absolutely brilliant by Collins. He's not only smashing his opponent's hips, he's keeping him against the cage. Absolutely brilliant.
Very uncomfortable. Not a lot of room for Hayes to work.
And Collins, once again, just pushes him back up against the cage.
Not a lot of damage by Collins on top, though.
No, Hayes did a nice job there. Worked for an armbar. And Collins is doing a good job. Do not try to separate. Keep smashing your opponent down.
Great analysis from former RFO
Bantamweight.
Bantamweight champion John Sturmack.
Thank the gods I didn't have to fight Cody Garbrandt. He's a little bit younger than myself at the time, and I'm happy he was a little bit younger at the time.
Yeah, he's still a little younger. The only difference is you're sitting next to me, and he's training for a fight against TJ Dillashaw. 10 seconds left in this fight.
And I would have to say this is a pretty easy one. Tyler Collins, I got this 30-27. I don't know about you. Competitive fight, but I think it's pretty obvious who won.
I would agree. A grinder by Tyler Collins. We'll see when Matt Chukovich talks to him, if he so happens to be in the victor circle like we believe, if he makes any announcement about turning pro and what his plans are. But John, perhaps not the most exciting fight, but effective when you're talking about Tyler Collins.
I enjoyed the fight in this respect. It may not have been the most exciting of all time, but it was competitive, it was strategic, and both guys used a lot of strategy.
The officials are looking at the scorecards. Jake doing some calculations.
And we're going to send it up to Jake Digman, who is coming into the cage. He will make the official announcement, and we will find out who is your winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for both of these fighters. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Mike Berry scores this contest 30-27. Judge Dan Leeson scores this contest 30-27. And Judge Will Messer scores this contest 29-28. For your winner by unanimous decision, Tyler the Outlaw Collins!
Well, there we have it, the Outlaw. Let's send it up to Matt Chukovich.
You're with your winner, Tyler Collins. What's next for you, brother?
I'm going to go pro. That's the only reason I was here. 6 days notice. I got a little tired in here, not a lot of time to prepare, but I still showed up and did what I had to do.
How's it going over at Aries Combat?
Everything at Aries is going good. Came in, got the win, 6 days notice. Survived 9 minutes against a 5-1 guy, no problem.
Let's hear it for your winner, Tyler Collins.